Hi, I'm Graham Blackburn and this is Traditional Woodworking by Hand. And in our continuing series on one of the many books I've written, this one is Woodworking Hand Tools. Today we're going to be talking about match planes. So the first question is, what is a match plane? Well, it simply means, even though it's a bit of an illogical term, it simply means a pair of planes that match each other. Now, you can't have a pair of one, but nevertheless, that's the term. Here is a very simple example of match planes. This is a hollow plane, this is a round plane, and you'll notice that they match each other. So if you were joining two pieces of wood, or you wanted to put two pieces of wood close together to where it was the same curve, this would be considered a pair of match planes. Actually, in practice, match planes is a term that tends to be reserved for planes that do joinery. These hollows and rounds, they're in the molding family of hand planes. But there's a third group of planes that I call special purpose planes that actually make joints. And one of the more common joints that we get to make are joints that make a groove, and then the matching plane will make a tongue that will go in there, so you can join two pieces of wood together. That's how flooring is put together. You have a tongue here and a match there. And for many years before the introduction of plywood, that was how flooring was made, that was how walls were put together. Boards were joined together with tongue and groove joints in order to make a single smooth surface, whether it was a floor or whether it was a wall or whether it was the bottom of a cabinet or a drawer or something like that. Now, in terms of tongue and groove match planes, here is a pair. And if you look closely, you can see that one of them will make a tongue and one of them will cut a groove. And they're called match because they actually match each other. Now, originally, they may have been sold as a pair. But you don't have to worry if you're at a flea market and you find match planes that they're the same make. So long as they have the same number on the back, this one is 1/6 and this one is also 1/6, you know that the groove made by this plane will fit the tongue made by this plane. That's the simplest kind of T&G, tongue and groove match planes. As with a lot of things over the years got complicated. Here is a rather nice example of a coming and going match plane, and you'll notice it has two irons, two wedges, two irons, and one side cuts the groove and the other side cuts the tongue. So this is especially convenient. Now, there are some things, common sense things to bear in mind about joints. There are proportions. It's best if the proportions are such that the joint, one side of the joint is almost as equal to the other side of the joint. If you put two pieces of wood together and one side is much thicker than the other, then it's not going to be as strong as it possibly can. The basic rule is that when you're joining things, you should try and remove as little wood as possible from both parts of the joint. That way the joint will be the strongest it is. So it's important when you're using tongue and groove match planes to use match planes that will fit the particular width of wood. These are designed for working on a piece of wood that's maybe 3/4 of an inch wide. You can see that way, then the tongue would be right in the middle. It's not impossible to use smaller match planes on bigger pieces of wood. If you do that, you're going to end up with the tongue maybe not centered, and you may even end up with a double tongue. All of these things, by the way, are illustrated in the book, which I showed you earlier, which you can find, by the way, if you go to my website. You can see all the books listed, and you're welcome to order them by phone. But there's a lot of things to remember about that. We're just talking today in general about match planes. So one of the commonest forms of match planes are tongue and groove planes that will make a tongue and groove joint. And a rarer version is one that I like to call a coming and going plane. You can use it this way and you can use it this way, and you'll end up with a joint that matches itself. Now, that's good for different thicknesses of wood. And you don't, by the way, have to use match planes that is designed specifically for a particular width. You can always adjust things later using compass planes or block planes or whatever. But the thing that I want to show you today is, what do you do if you want to join with a tongue and groove joint really big pieces of wood? Well, for that we have a pair of match planes here that are really big. They have adjustable fences. One cuts you can look at the bottom of this will cut a nice tongue, and this one will cut a nice groove. These tended by many manufacturers to be referred to as planking planes, for the obvious reason that you might use the smaller match planes for if you're making parts of furniture, but if you're doing big construction work, whether it's boat building or house building or whatever, you want something bigger. So I want to show you a couple of things that are important about planking planes. First of all, they differ from the smaller ones in that they have an adjustable fence. So you loosen this, and then you can move the fence, this is the fence, further in or further out, which will allow the groove to be exactly positioned wherever you want it. The thing to remember when you do that, if you want the plane to work properly, is that after you've finished adjusting, the fence has to be exactly the same distance away with the first adjustment as it does at the bottom. Otherwise, the fence will be skewed and you'll have a hard time keeping it moving. So this is a planking plane, and this is the planking plane that will make the groove. And the thing that's important about this, because as you may remember from previous episodes, I like to make the point that there's very little in traditional woodworking that you do without some kind of supporting device, some kind of jig, some kind of support or whatever, whether it's a shooting board or a bench hook or whatever. And the same thing, it's kind of true here. You have a fence, but you don't have anything else to make sure this is right. So it's very important when you're using these planking planes to, first of all, make sure that the fence is held securely against the work. And then with your hand on the tote, remember we only use 3 fingers and the other finger points, that you want to really use the plane so that so far as is possible, you're holding it perfectly vertical. Something that's not immediately apparent to beginners, but which can help a lot, is that when you're using a lot of these molding planes or match planes, it's very often easier if you start at the far end of the workpiece rather than at the beginning of the workpiece. Why? Because if you start here, it's possible that you could wander off. But if you start at the far end and you make a couple of cuts, and you slowly work your way back, each time that you go a little further forward, the plane is being led into the groove that it's already made. So, two important things. Hold the fence really securely against the work, right? 3 fingers, start at the far end, and do everything you can to make sure that you're holding the plane vertically. It's made easier by the fact that the fence is quite substantial, and if you make sure you're holding the fence against, that goes a long way to making sure that the fence is, that the plane, is going to be perfectly vertical. So it's a lot of work, but as with a lot of traditional woodworking, if I had to do thousands of feet of this, then of course it would pay me to use my my jointer or my router table or something like that. But as with a lot of us, if we're just making one-of-a-kind pieces, it's frequently, quite apart from being quieter and safer and leaving you a nice edge, it's quite frequently quicker if you use the hand tool and you don't have to mess around with setting up fences and guides and you have to wear earmuffs and things like that. So that's a little introduction into match planes, simple kind, the coming and going kind, and the really big ones if you have something really big to do that we call planking planes. So I hope that was interesting. If you want to learn more, by all means, as I said before, go to the website. You can see all the books that I've written, not just the one that contains information about this. And you can also find information on how to contact me if you would like to come and take lessons in my woodstock shop. So, good planing, keep an eye out for match planes, and we'll see you soon. Thank you.